Hey everyone, so today I want to show you the 1 year results, 1 year plus result of using doing a lawn renovation with Ryan Knorr's Elite grass seed. So I completely killed off this area. I used glyphosate, a couple of applications of that, and then I put a thin layer of topsoil, and then I seeded with Ryan Knorr's Elite. This is the turf type tall fescue, blended with a small amount of, I believe, ryegrass. And the reason I chose that seed is because this part of my lawn gets a lot of heat, a lot of sun heat in the midsummer. It also gets a lot of shade over there. And so tall fescue tends to be pretty temperature tolerant. Now I can finally show you it's matured in, and I think it looks really good. I really like how there is just a uniformity of the texture compared to what it was before. It's definitely not perfect. I wish it was a little bit more uniform. But this is just, it came in pretty thick. And this is first year maturation, so I'm wondering how it will look different next year. There were some areas where I wasn't sure it was going to come in thick enough. And I've just been really impressed with how it's done. It has not needed a lot of product. I have given it some fertilizer. And I did use, actually no, I did not use a pre-emergent in the spring because I knew I was going to be seeding a few areas. But mainly, the cool thing about these new cultivars of grass seeds and stuff is that they're genetically better and hardier and better looking strands, and so you don't really have to they're just kind of lower maintenance. Like, you give them water, a little bit of nutrients, and they're good as long as the weather's good and you're not attacked by fungus. I didn't have any fungus problems that I know of this year, and so that was good. I have used some ryegrass in other places, and it got hit with some rust fungus. So just to recap, because it wasn't always exactly smooth, so it came in pretty good. I used a net blanket on this side of it, which it's a little bit inclined here, and so that really helped to keep it from washing out. I took the net blanket out as the grass matured, so I wouldn't have it stuck there. And some areas, especially up here, came in pretty thin when I first had the shoots. But you can see it's you can see it's a little bit clumpier. So a lot of sideways stuff going on here. Same thing over here where it's pretty shady. And I think I've got some regrowth of POA, in these areas that you can see. Still a little bald. I did not get this revitalized as much as I wanted to in the spring. But anyway, overall, it did come in last fall, but it was still kind of baby grass. It grew enough that I was able to give it some stripes, and then went through winter, did fine, got to next spring. And this side, like the bottom here, and then that side, my topsoil probably had tons of weeds in it. So I just got absolutely nailed with chickweed. There was like more chickweed than there was grass, it seemed like, especially over in this area. I did spray that, but it probably would have died out anyway. I used tenacity, I think. I forget what the actual compound is. And by the way, there's like some torn up stuff over here. This is a skunk just did this. It's been doing it all over my yard over the last couple of days. I think it's looking for grubs or something. So we'll move over here so we don't see that. So yeah, I got hit with that this spring. It was still kind of sparse, even though it was a little bit better than the fall. And I was like, oh man, am I gonna have to like reseed a bunch of this? But then as the summer progressed and it warmed up, the grass just it really filled out and it really matured. It looks completely different than it did in the spring. And then it stayed well over the summer. And even here where I tried to spray, I've sprayed out some spots of POA and stuff, which I'm sure it's coming back. But even those areas, just with lateral, the tall fescue is a bunch grass, but the bunches do expand. because they get kind of wide. And so we do have some lateral coverage of those bald spots, which I thought I was going to have to reseed that area. So all that to say, this is it's probably how it's going to look. I do expect a little bit of maturation probably next year. I have heard that tall fescue is a little bit resistant to nitrogen fertilizer in the first year. So for example, I've been using urea fast acting, and when I put it down on this, I really don't see a huge like jump in growth or deep green up. Now it's already fairly green, but I have heard that the first year tall fescue can be a little, it doesn't really react as much to, if you bomb it with fertilizer. So it'll be interesting to see next year, is it going to respond more to nutrients as opposed to just doing its own thing this year? But either way, this was my first time doing a full renovation of any area, and I'm super happy with it. I think, there's other brands of seeds, and you can probably get them cheaper at supply sites online if you know what cultivars you want. But Ryan Knorr's was pretty good. I can't remember how many pounds I used. I think you're supposed to do 3 or 4 pounds per 1,000 square feet, and this is about 1,000 square feet. But I usually try to overseed because it never seems to come up enough. But yeah, I'm really happy that this area, this grass has really turned out to be heat resistant. It doesn't like just conk out and turn brown like the fine fescue that most of this was afterwards. Before it was kind of like this grass. Now it's cool. It's October right now, so the grass is kind of recovering, but it would basically be absent in the summer. It would just be like, it's hot, I'm out. And then in the spring it would look okay, but it would still look really blotchy. And then in the fall it would kind of look okay, but also kind of blotchy. A lot of lime green areas, even though I don't think I had creeping bentgrass here, but I did have some poa and fine fescue. Fine fescue is so hardy. It's really amazing. It dies, but then it comes back with a vengeance. So anyway, I really like the way this looks, having a mono stand. In retrospect, I kind of wish I didn't have, I don't know how much of this is ryegrass, but I don't care about the ryegrass. I like the pure tall fescue. I thought it was going to be a little bit darker green, and I do have some soluble iron that I'm going to spray on it if I ever get time, because I think that'll kind of deepen the color. But again, maybe that's something that this is a 1-year turf, and so maybe as it kind of matures, it can utilize things, nutrients better next year. I don't know, I'm just theorizing. Was it worth the project? Yes, it definitely was. And yeah, here's a successful Ryan Knorr seed lawn. Probably doesn't look as good as his. He does have a tall turf type tall fescue plot. So yeah, I think it came out really good. Hope you agree. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions or whatever. So here's what it looks like up close. Definitely tall fescue type of blade, but then there's other areas where, it's quite a bit finer, but still, yeah, looks good. That's what I keep telling myself.